Hey guys, Wes here. So today I'm going to do a update on the Fluval Spec tank with the Betta and the Cories. I figured I would do an update on this tank since I haven't done one since, I believe it's been since August, so like 2 months. So there hasn't been any big changes with this tank, but I figured I would kind of update you guys on the fish and the plants. So first we're going to start with the fish. So here's the Betta fish, guys. This is my Super Delta Betta. He has a really nice looking tail when he ever spreads it out. Lately he's been pretty calm. He hasn't really been swimming around a whole much. I think he might just be getting bored with this tank. I wish I had more time to switch it up and work on my tanks, especially this one. The aquascape's been the same for so long. I wish I had time to work on it more, but I've been really busy with school and work, like I always say. So there just hasn't been any changes to this tank, so he's been just kind of lazy. As you can see, he doesn't like to show off for the camera. So now let's check in on the Cories. Okay, so there you can see in the back, in between that Java fern and the moss ball, are two of my Cories, and those are two different species. Let me see if I can zoom in here. The upper one towards the back of the tank is a Corydory pygmaeus, or a pygmy Cory. The lower one, more towards the front of the tank, is a Habrosus Cory, which I believe is also called a Venezuelan Cory. They had them at my LFS when I first bought them, and they were small like the pygmy ones, so I figured I could get some of those to keep the pygmy Cory company, since his other two siblings didn't quite make it. So now let's check in on the snails, of all things. So here's one of my two olive nerite snails, or zebra nerite snails, excuse me, that I have in this tank. They've been working hard at keeping the glass clean. Here's the other one down here. Once in a while I see them cleaning off each other's shells, which I think is kind of funny, but yeah, they pretty much just police the glass. They haven't been on many of the plants. A lot of the leaves aren't really that covered in algae or anything. Oh, camera, please focus. I wish I had a nice camera instead of my phone. But the one thing that they don't really touch is the moss. Sometimes I've seen them up there in the past, but they can't really eat any of the algae off of there. It's sort of like a blue-green, kind of really like caked on type of algae. So they can't really clean that. I wish my moss would stay nice and clean, because it looks really nice when it's grown out along this log. But unfortunately, it looks like this. So I guess I'm going to move on to the plants. So we talked about the moss. Here's the Cryptospiralis, that big tall one in the back. As you can see on the tops of the leaves, there's some algae. There's some brown algae, and there's also some like darker greenish algae. It's just really close to the light. You can see how close it is, and it's right on the surface too. So it's like, if there is ever a good time to grow algae, that would be the best place. So I just kind of leave those. It doesn't really affect the plant a whole lot. Cryptospiralis is pretty resilient, so I just leave that on there. And if the snails ever want to venture up to the top of a Cryptospiralis leaf, they can go ahead and munch on that. Down here we have some Java fern. I have tons of little baby ones all over the place from when my bigger plants were propagating more, but I just have a whole bunch of little ones along the tank here. They don't really grow very big. This one in the corner I think is like the mother plant of most of them, so that's the biggest, but the rest of them haven't grown terribly much. They don't require many nutrients, but I figured they would still grow even though I don't really dose anything in here. And this substrate probably is kind of stripped of its nutrients because I've cleaned it quite a few times. Also down here, that big bulb is actually a Anubias nana. That just refuses to grow as well. Those are the biggest leaves that it will grow for now, which is kind of disappointing. And it's covered in nerite snail eggs, which are impossible to get off glass if you've ever experienced that. I think that is a Anubias nana as well. That still hasn't been growing. I'm not sure why my Anubias isn't doing so well. Usually it can grow in about any condition, but I think the light may be too high. Here is my Anubias nana petite. There is some leftovers of food for the bottom feeders. But these have been doing fine, I suppose. They don't really grow much either. It's a slower grower than even the Anubias nana. So these are just doing okay. I think I said in previous updates they're surviving. They're not really thriving. There's some more baby Java fern. That one has quite a bit of black algae on it. The moss balls are still going strong in the back. They're not as bright green as they used to be, probably because I haven't turned them over in quite a while. But they're doing fine. They're actually the same size now. The one on the left was initially called a small Marimo moss ball when I bought it. Marimo, sorry, I went kind of fast there. But yeah, they're about the same size now. That's just a good hiding spot for the cories behind there, and sometimes I'll see the betta fish down in between, kind of laying in the little crevice down there. He likes to sleep down there sometimes. Here is a Tropicosaur that I moved over from the 29 gallon. I put this in here quite a while ago. It hasn't grown a whole lot, but it does look like it's grown a few more leaves. I just thought I would put that in there since there's no room in the 29 gallon anymore. The plants are getting kind of overgrown. I will probably do an update on the 29 gallon next week, so stay tuned for that. Here's some more Cryptospiralis in the back by the Airstone. That's doing great as well. The Airstone is kind of pulling those leaves up and waving them. That's kind of interesting. And I used to have Crypt Parva. It was really, really, really small, but it never ended up growing, so I ripped that out quite a while ago. There was 4 tiny little plants down along the middle there where that empty space is, and I just haven't filled it in. So that's all I have for the betta tank today. Sorry it's kind of a lame video this week, but I thought I would do an update on this since I haven't in a while. So stay tuned for more videos. Like I said, we're going to do a 29 gallon update next week. And definitely subscribe for more videos. I'm almost up to 200. That's awesome. Definitely give this video a like if you like these updates, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions for a new aquascape with this driftwood that I have, or possibly without the driftwood. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next week.